Santorini, Greece, a journey through paradise. Welcome to the magic. Ah, Santorini. Just saying the name sends a little wave of warmth through my chest. It's one of those places that sounds like it's made up, like something out of a dream or a movie set. But let me tell you right now, Santorini is very, very real. And over the next few minutes, I want to take you on a journey, a deep, immersive, slow journey through every corner, every flavor, every legend, and every breathtaking view of this island that somehow manages to be more magical than the postcards. I still remember the first time I saw Santorini from the deck of a ferry. The cliffs rising high above the sea, those stark white buildings clinging to the caldera like tiny sugar cubes, and that impossibly blue dome of sky. It was like time slowed down. And I want to give you that same feeling. So, find a cozy spot, maybe grab a coffee or a cup of tea, and let's step into the story of Santorini. Formed by fire, of volcanic origin. Let's begin with the land itself. See, Santorini wasn't always like this. It was once a round island until, well, boom. Around 1600 BCE, a colossal volcanic eruption blew the center right out of it, creating the crescent-shaped island we see today. That explosion? It was one of the most powerful in human history. Some say it gave rise to the legend of Atlantis. As you walk along the caldera edge, what you're really doing is tracing the rim of a volcano. Look down and you'll see the dark cliffs plunging into the Aegean Sea. That's the inside of the ancient crater. Even the soil here is volcanic, which, as we'll see later, affects everything from the architecture to the cuisine. It's humbling, really. Santorini is a reminder that beauty can rise from destruction. That something broken can become something breathtaking. First impressions, arriving on the island. Let's talk about arriving, because the way you first encounter Santorini sets the tone for everything that follows. Whether you arrive by ferry slicing through the deep blue Aegean, or land by plane with the sunlit sea sparkling below, that first glimpse is something you'll never forget. It doesn't feel quite real, more like a scene pulled from a painting or a movie you've seen a dozen times but never believed you'd step into. Let's say you take the ferry, like I did. After hours on the open water, you finally see it, rising out of the sea like a mirage. From a distance, the island appears rugged and severe. But as you draw closer, the detail emerges. The cliffs are sheer and immense, carved over centuries by volcanic fury. You see layers of earth in rich colors, deep chocolate browns, burnt reds, smoky grays, and streaks of golden beige, each band telling its own story of eruption in time. They stack upward like the tiers of a colossal, ancient cake. And then your eyes drift to the top. There, perched impossibly on the edge of these cliffs, are tiny white buildings. From a distance, they almost look like sugar cubes or delicate frosting, shimmering in the sunlight. It's hard to imagine how they got there, or how they stay. But they do, clinging to the cliffs like snowflakes frozen in place. As the ferry pulls into the tiny port of Athenios, a wave of warm sea air greets you, scented faintly with salt and sun. The port itself is compact and busy, travelers coming and going, luggage wheels clicking on the concrete, locals shouting directions, tour buses jostling for space. It's a little chaotic, a little loud, but charming in that lively Mediterranean way, full of color and personality. Then comes the climb. A winding road, zigzagging its way up the towering cliffs, begins your journey to Phyra, the island's bustling capital. The road is narrow and steep, almost unnerving in places, hugging the cliffside with hairpin turns that seem to defy physics. But every bend reveals a new sliver of the view, a tease of what's to come. Your heart beats a little faster, your excitement grows with every curve. And then, suddenly, you're at the top. You step out, and everything goes quiet. Because there it is, the caldera. A vast, sunlit expanse of sea and sky framed by volcanic cliffs. The water below is a color you can't quite name, something between sapphire and ink, and it stretches endlessly, catching the light in soft ripples. The sky above is just as wide, blurring into the horizon until you can't tell where one ends and the other begins. It's not just beautiful. It's overwhelming. The scale, the silence, the sheer wonder of it grabs you in the chest. You don't just see the view. You feel it. In that moment, your feet finally on solid ground, your eyes wide, your heart full, it hits you. You're in Santorini. And nothing will ever be quite the same again. Fira, the heartbeat of the island. Fira is where most visitors start, and it's easy to see why. It's lively without being overwhelming, modern yet rooted in history. You'll walk along narrow stone paths flanked by shops, cafes, and little churches with blue domes. The air is filled with the scent of baked goods, sunscreen, and that fresh sea breeze that wraps around you like a hug. There's a lot to do here, but honestly, the best thing is just to walk. Meander. Get lost. Duck into a taverna for a cold frappe or a plate of grilled halloumi. Talk to a local shop owner. Buy something handmade. Watch a cat sleep in the shade. That's how Fira speaks to you. And don't skip the cable car. It takes you down to the old port in just a few minutes, and the ride itself is a treat. You get those sweeping caldera views from a whole new angle. Oia Village, the icon of beauty. Now we're heading north, toward Oia, Santorini's crown jewel. It's the village that graces travel magazines, postcards, and screensavers, yet still manages to feel like a secret whispered between travelers. If Fira is the island's heartbeat, alive, electric, always moving, then Oia is its soul, serene, graceful, timeless. You could hike there from Fira. It's a legendary trek, roughly 10 kilometers of cliffside trails, winding along the caldera with views that take your breath away every few minutes. Along the way, you pass tiny chapels, crumbling stone walls, and stretches where the land drops away completely, revealing the Aegean in all its endless majesty. The walk takes a few hours, depending on how often you stop to marvel at the view, which is often. But this time, let's take a car. Even then, the journey is no less poetic. The road snakes gently across the island's spine, with glimpses of the caldera on one side and the open Aegean on the other. You pass sleepy villages, windmills frozen in the sunlight, and fruit gardens twisted low to the earth, the ancient way of growing grapes in this windy, volcanic terrain. And then, just as the landscape begins to narrow and rise again, Oia reveals itself, spilling across the cliffside like a vision. At first, it seems almost too perfect to be real. The whitewashed buildings cascade down the slopes in organic, flowing layers. They aren't arranged in straight lines or neat blocks. Instead, they tumble down the volcanic rock like a waterfall of light, rounded rooftops, arched doorways, tiny balconies all jostling for space and sunlight. There's an immediate shift in atmosphere. The sounds of traffic disappear. The pace of life slows to a soft murmur. Oia is not a place you rush through, it's a place you meander. The village was designed for wandering. Its cobbled alleys are narrow, winding, and deliberately confusing. You're meant to get lost here, and you do, joyfully. Turn a corner, and you stumble upon a quiet courtyard where a sleepy cat stretches in the shade. Turn another, and there's a small chapel, its blue dome glowing against the sky, a bell tower rising in perfect symmetry. Then another, an open doorway leading into a cave house carved right into the cliff. Every few steps offers another surprise, another scene that could be framed and hung on a wall. And the colors, oh, the colors. The crisp whites of the buildings seem to drink in the sun. Bougainvillea vines explode in shades of fuchsia and purple, crawling across rooftops and wrapping around railings. Shutters and doors are painted in every shade of Mediterranean blue, turquoise, cobalt, navy. The contrast between the stark white architecture and the deep blue sea below is so striking, it doesn't seem possible it could exist outside of a painting. But it does. It's all real. And nowhere does that reality feel more magical than during the sunset. OIA is famous, world famous, for its sunsets. And rightly so. Beaches of another world. Santorini's beaches aren't what you might expect. There's no golden sand. Instead, you get color, red, black, and white. It's otherworldly. Red Beach is backed by towering crimson cliffs. You reach it by a rocky path, and the view as you descend is something else. The water is clear, the sand dark, and everything feels primal. Camari and Parisa are the black sand beaches. They're livelier, with sunbeds and cafes, and the sand gets hot. Seriously, bring flip-flops. Then there's White Beach, which you can only get to by boat. It's remote, wild, peaceful. A true escape. A taste of Santorini. Now, let's eat. Oh yes. Food here isn't just nourishment, it's a cultural ritual. Start with fava, a silky puree of yellow split peas, topped with onions and olive oil. Then there's tomato keftids, crispy tomato fritters packed with herbs. Seafood is a must. Grilled octopus, fresh calamari, sardines with lemon. Pair it with local tea, more on that in a second, and a view, and you're in heaven. Dinner in Santorini isn't rushed. It's slow, long, joyful. You eat under the stars, with music in the distance and the scent of the sea in the air. Akrotiri, the buried city. Time for some history. We're going to Akrotiri, a Bronze Age settlement buried by that massive eruption. It was preserved, like Pompeii, and what remains is astonishing. Multi-story homes, plumbing systems, vivid frescoes. These people were advanced. Walking through the site, you feel like an archaeologist discovering lost stories. It makes you realize this island isn't just beautiful. It's ancient, layered, alive with stories. Villages off the map. Now let's step off the beaten path. Visit Pyrgos, quiet, elevated, with panoramic views. Or Emporio, full of winding alleys and medieval charm. Megalokori is a gem, too, with traditional homes and secret courtyards. This is where you see real life. Kids playing. Locals sipping coffee. Time feels slower here. And that's the beauty of it. Sunset farewell. As the day ends, the sky begins its nightly performance. Shades of lavender, gold, and deep orange paint the horizon. You take a seat, maybe on a rooftop, maybe on a cliff, and just breathe it all in. This island has shown you beauty, history, flavor, peace. It's more than a destination. It's a feeling. Thank you for spending this time with me, for walking the paths of Santorini together. If you ever get the chance, come here. See it. Feel it. Let it change you. If you've enjoyed this journey through the stunning beauty of Santorini, its dreamlike villages, golden sunsets, and unforgettable charm, don't forget to support the channel. Hit the like button, because every click helps more travelers find this story. Subscribe if you want more breathtaking destinations and immersive travel experiences delivered straight to you. And most importantly, share this video with your friends, family, or anyone who dreams of a magical escape. Who knows? This might just inspire their next adventure. Until next time, Yasas, from the heart of the Aegean.